Good morning, everyone. So I thought I would do an updated video on virtual machines. I talk about them all the time, but I see I haven't done one for a while. And this is more specific for a client who I just installed their first virtual machine on their laptop. So this is going to be working as a guide for them. So this is how it works. So anyways, this is my regular computer. I have all my icons hidden, so you don't need to see unnecessary stuff. But you'll, on your desktop or on your toolbar, you'll have this icon down here. As you can see, I've already got 3 other virtual machines running. But you just, open it up. In this case, I'm going to do right-click virtual machine. And it brings up the list of all the virtual machines. Now I'm going to use the 10 for Studio, which is what you're all used to seeing. And I'm going to play it, and we'll let it load up. Now, if this is the first time you're using a virtual machine, hopefully I've set it up for you. But if you're doing it yourself, I use VMware. You can also use VirtualBox by Sun Oracle, which is Java. You can use that also. Most of the time you see the screen in full screen mode when I am doing recordings. I just have it in windowed mode now so everyone can see what I'm doing. So yeah, if you wanted it in full screen mode, there's a button here. It says enter full screen mode. See, I just have the resolution turned down so it's do that, but you get, when it's in full screen mode, you get a toolbar up here. It auto hides. So if you want to take it back to windowed mode, you click on the same button. So according to the virtual machine right now, what is connected is a hard drive, a second hard drive, my DVD drive, network adapter, a printer is present but not installed, the sound is there, and my webcam is there. And of course that says it's the liquid cooling system in my computer, but this is referred to as your primary computer is referred to as your host, and this is considered a guest. And so with that, there's going to be a question of, well, how do I get files installed on my virtual machine and so on and so forth. So let me show you that. Let me grab a flash drive here. When you have a virtual machine running with your desktop, the first time you plug in a USB drive, and this is going to be the most efficient way to do it until such time that you all figure out how to do networking, and networking on a virtual machine is a little bit harder, but you see it down here kind of flashing saying, hey, there's something there. So in this box, let me get rid of that virtual machine, but okay. So this one's going to pop up. It's going to ask you what you want to do, and you want to connect to a virtual machine. In this case, my virtual machine I want to connect to is 10 for Studio. I can get rid of that one. And what should happen now is, let's look in the File Explorer. And there is my flash drive I just plugged in. Yeah, it's a Windows 10 boot disk. It works just the same, just like if I had it plugged in. So the virtual machine has control of that flash drive. Now, if I wanted to send that back, you can either unplug it and plug it back in and connect to the host. In theory, you can do this. You can unclick it, which will say disconnect and then connect to the host. And there it goes. Now it's connected to my host computer, not the virtual machine. Like if I wanted to dump files on here, and then once the files were done, I can go back over here and reconnect to it. And it should go back into the virtual machine. And this way you can transfer files that way. That is the easiest way for the average person to do it. Like I said, you can do it by network connectivity. Obviously I have internet connected to this virtual machine. You've seen this in previous videos where I'm using this to load up websites and so on and so forth. So obviously I do have it configured for network accessibility, which means I can also do a shared file if I wanted to, or a shared folder to exchange information back and forth that way. However, if you're not familiar with doing that type of work, the flash drive is just going to be the better choice for you. In this way, you've got a hard copy of it on the flash drive, so if the virtual machine it doesn't work right or it doesn't load up right, you've not lost anything. But yeah, that's how you do it. You go into Player, removable devices, and then you place a check mark on your flash drive. In this case, this flash drive is a SanDisk. And then if I wanted to send it back to the host, which is the primary computer, you just do that and it sends it back. And then if I wanted to pull it back into the virtual machine, you just click on it and it brings it back. Yep, it asks that question all the time. You can always put the check mark in there, don't ask this again, and it will automatically pull it back through. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you the pop-up like it does on regulars, or it may do it, but you can always go into your File Explorer or this computer or computer and check it, but it should show up then. So that's probably going to be the easiest way to transfer files. And then this also works. This is an installation disk, so if I wanted to install Windows 10, there it is. If I wanted to install Office from a flash drive or from a DVD, there it is. I mean, there's the DVD. So yeah, it would work that way also. The other thing to remember too is if you're a little more sophisticated and you know how to do ISOs, which I've done a video on in the past, how to create ISOs, you can always create an ISO on your primary and then use the virtual drive. And this one has a virtual CD drive on it. That's what this is. It has a virtual CD drive on it. And most times when I set up a virtual machine for a client, I will always put a virtual CD DVD drive in. That way, if I ever need to do ISOs for them, or you want to learn how to do ISOs, like I said, there's a video in the past about doing that. You can create your own ISOs and you can install or use it that way. But yeah, your flash drives, that's going to be the simplest way. And then if you have, like I said, this is maximized. If you want to change the configuration of your resolution, you can. Then you can go like this monitor is a 1920 by 1080. Keep the changes, and then if I wanted full screen, there's the full screen. The toolbar is on the bottom, just like if it was your regular computer. So this is really beneficial if you're doing dual monitors. I've got two monitors, so I've got the Virtual Studio here, and then my host on the other monitor, and I can just easily flip back between the two and it doesn't bother anything. But if you're only using one screen, just remember that you may have to jump out of it from time to time and minimize it to get to the host. But yeah, that's how you do it. It's not too complex. It works just like if you were, especially when you got it in full screen mode, it works just like if you had for any other computer. You've got your browser. If in this particular client's case, it's going to be Internet Explorer. I don't think there was Chrome or anything like that, but again, I've showed this video 100 times and I will show it again. If you need, for Windows 7 virtual machines, if you need software, you just go over to Night Night and get the software you need. So there's Chrome and Opera and Edge and all that, and there's Zoom if you need it, Discord, Skype. All of these programs are available, and once you check the ones you want, you click on Get This Night Night. The screen will flip and download will start, and then you can just install that to get everything that you need for your virtual machine. If you have problems with a virtual machine not being able to get to the internet, and the reason why I say that is because yes, you can use an XP virtual machine. I do have clients that do that. That's going to be a little bit trickier, but it can be done. But yeah, this is how you use your virtual machine. It's just like a computer on top of a computer, and if you have it in full screen mode like this, you won't even know that it's any different, because it takes literally the entire screen. The taskbar and everything is down here at the bottom, just like if it was a regular computer. And then if you needed to get back to your primary, like I said, then this is where you would get to it. You just take it out of full screen mode and minimize it, and there's your regular one. So yeah, if you're using virtual machines, most people are using them if they want to do it for work related purposes. So like if they're remoting into work, virtual machines work well. You just got to put the remote desktop software on there, whether it be TeamViewer or Windows remote desktop protocols. whatever you want to use. But that's pretty much how you use it, and it keeps it separate from your host computer. So if this one would get infected with a virus, because I have this set up with networking between, but for most people I don't do that setup. If this one would get infected with a virus, although it's very unlikely that it can contaminate your primary, unless you're doing it via flash drive. So that's why I said that flash drive is kind of important, and it is the easiest way to transfer information from your host to your virtual machine, or your guest machine. So, and with that, like I said, I tell everyone, if you're using a virtual machine, this is going to be the safest way to do it. Just to be careful. Although you can email it to yourself. You've seen me do that before, from my host machine to the virtual machine, via Google or via Google Drive. You can do that also, or Dropbox, or whatever you want to use. You can do that. You just have two separate accounts and you drop it into one, you pick it up in the other. So yeah, you could do that. But like I said, flash drives usually are the most efficient way to do it. But whatever works for you in that particular case. But this is how you utilize that. And the thing is you have to remember when you're shutting down your computer. And I will show you this too. Let me get out of this. Anytime you're doing a virtual machine and it is live and active, so if your computer were to randomly turn off for a power outage or whatever, you're going to run into this problem. And you see these lock folders. What that means is if these programs are in operation, and so what happens with that is, if you restart a virtual machine and it did not shut down properly, you have to delete these out of your folders. Now, I have it on a separate drive. Most people will have it in their documents as a subfolder. You find the virtual machine in there and you delete out these lock files, and then your virtual machine will load back up properly. However, in this case it's got 4. It's really recommended, just my opinion, check around too, but it's really recommended you just do a shutdown, a proper shutdown, to close your virtual machine. You could do a restart too, but just do a proper shutdown. It'll do a shutdown on its own. It'll kick you back to your host, and then you're there. And then if you need to go back into it, you'll have to boot it up. But that's the proper way to do it, because if you don't shut it down properly, or you put it in hibernation mode or suspend mode, you would think that would make those boot up faster. They don't. They actually slow down, and because it's doing hard drive checks and data integrity checks and so on and so forth, so it makes it a lot harder. So, but yeah, shut it down properly, and then when you need the virtual machine, go into it again, double click it to open it back up and let it do its thing. So this is just a rough idea of how to use your virtual machine. Like I said, whether it be Windows 10 like this one is, Windows 7 is the same way. XP, again, same thing, although with XP, when you start using flash drives, you have to make sure you have a flash drive that's compatible with XP, because that was when flash drives just started coming out and they might not have drivers for it. So, but yeah, that's how you use your virtual machine. If you got questions regarding it, you can leave it in the comment section down below. I'll answer them as best as I can. If it's an immediate situation, give me a call. There's the phone number. If you found this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe. It's down below, thumbs that way. Give it a thumbs up. If you got a Google account or a YouTube account, you can subscribe. We drop videos every day at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you don't have those, if you got a Facebook, you can find us over here. Again, they get cross-posted over there. In the video description below, you will see more. Click that. It'll give you some various links, like our website, our MeWe channel, our Facebook channel, and how to do donations if you would like to donate to the cause, because YouTube doesn't pay me for this yet. You got to get those numbers up. So hopefully you found this useful and you like it. So you guys have a great day. I will talk to you later. Oh, and by the way, this is recorded for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.